So I am recording this video and I will not pause it because I will end up looking at certain things and seeing how I need to change it. So I'm just going to record straight. So the other day I was talking to a coworker about my learning and how I learned certain things. So I'm going to talk about one way that I learned. I'm going to talk about the other way I learned certain things. First, I have no memory. My memory is shot. I cannot memorize anything. So a lot of times, if you tell me something, name, address, phone number, or whatever that has to involve memorizing something, that won't happen with me. I have to actually learn it. However, on the other side, when I was in school or if I'm in class and somebody's demonstrating something, I don't pay attention, but I do pay attention. I don't know if anybody can understand that concept. So I'm paying attention, but I'm not paying attention. It's like I'm looking at what somebody's doing with it, but this is doing instruction. So in school, I did not have to really study until my senior year in undergrad. And the senior year undergrad is because I took 3 math classes at one time. So when I am if a professor or teacher is teaching anything, I would look at what the person is doing, if they're writing on a board, if they're doing a demonstration, and as they're doing it, I will turn it into a movie. And I'm just looking or listening and really not looking. I don't know how I can explain it because the person can be talking right in front of me, but I'm not really looking directly at what they are doing. I am sometimes dreaming, looking off in the sky, doodling, but I'm not really listening or looking at the person, but I am looking at listening. I don't know if that makes sense. However, when I'm doing that, I am creating a movie in my head. And then when it's time for the test, I would go back and replay that movie in my head and answer the questions. However, when I am recording the movie, I would record the movie. While am I looking at the person doing a presentation or whatever you're doing? I would have to. I call it a anchor. But what I would do is probably be holding on to a pencil or doodling a pencil or doing some type of doodling because I have to do some type of activity when I'm learning. So when it's time for the test, I would answer the questions, but if I was doodling while the person was teaching it or presenting it, I would have to doodle for the answer to come back in my brain. So I would have to actually be a doodle. Or say, for instance, that even now, if someone, because I teach IT classes and I know information technology inside out, upside down, and all the way around, I know technology. And also, even if it's anything on a computer, but if it's something that I know, I still cannot remember it. But as soon as I put my hand on the mouse, it's like a full data dump that happens in my head, and that's the answer. I don't get it. Even when I'm teaching coding, I'm looking at the code, seeing what's happening, and I'm just looking and staring. And as soon as I put my hand on the keyboard, the answer comes up and it just pops out. So it's like a full, I don't know, it's like a data dump that happens in my head when I'm retrieving the information. But I had to touch something. So going back to studying or preparing for a test, I've never studied for a test to memorize anything because I would look at what the person doing. If I'm looking at a movie, I need to create that visual movie in my head. I don't know if that makes sense. And when I creating a movie into my head, when it's time to retrieve the information, I replay that movie in my head and answer the question. But when I'm replaying the movie and answering answers in my head, the answers of that particular test, whatever I was doing when I was recording the movie, I must do that same thing to retrieve the movie. So if I'm holding onto a mouse, or if I'm holding onto a pen, or if I'm squeezing my ear, I can be looking at somebody doing a presentation. I'm just doing this. And when it's time to retrieve the information or the content for that, I will end up needing to do this. And then as I'm doing it and retrieving the information, I still have to close my eyes, and I'm pinching on my ear, and then it replays in my head, and then I have the answer. That's that part. Then if it's something to memorize something, so say for instance, say I'm going to end up saying different items. Let's say table, chair, phone, light, whatever it is. After it gets past 4, I do not remember anything that's supposed to come. However, so let's link that to, because I take a bunch of math classes. Go back to needing to remember a formula for a math problem. I've never been able to memorize a formula for a math problem. I would need to look at the formula, and when I look at the formula, I would end up doing math problems, different math problems over and over again based on that particular formula. So repetition until I not memorize, until I know. So I can look at a math problem, and then as soon as I look at a math problem, the answer pops. Not me going through and figuring out the math problem. No, the answer just pops, and I know the answer. But a lot of times when I was in school, they was like, you need to show your work, you need to show your work. However, there was no work to show, because when I look at the problem, and because how I learned how to do that particular math problem, the answer just appears in my head. So I then have to go back and just show it step by step, and I struggle showing it step by step, but I would know the answer. I don't know if that makes so memory, if it's not logically, if there's no type of logic dealing with it, I won't know it. And the logic comes with me based on being a computer science and math. So anything I look at, I can understand the logical flow, if, then, else, if it makes logical sense and things like that. That's when the memory. But if you ask me that a person's name, and I have not associated that person's name with somebody that's relevant in my life, I would not know the person's name. If even faces, it's like, do you remember him? Do you remember her? You're looking at the face. No, I don't know the face. I don't remember the face. I do not remember the activity. I do not remember. You're like, I know you remember. No, I do not remember. So my memory is shot. I believe I'm probably the best person somebody can tell a secret to, because you can tell me a secret, and if I do not relate to it, I am not going to remember the secret. So people's like, I told you. No, okay, you probably did tell me, but I don't remember. So and now I'm understanding, and I'm glad that I'm understanding that it's associated with ADHD. So my superpower in ADHD, dealing with memory, you can tell me all your business and I won't know how to repeat it. That's why when somebody tell me, well, Nichelle said this, Nichelle, no, she didn't. Because guess what? She didn't remember. So, and then if somebody said, I'm like, I guess I said that. If you said I said that, maybe I did, but I do not remember if I said it. So I can, even on that part, and I'm not even going to say that's a superpower. Somebody can say that I said something, and if there's no type of importance of what I had said, I probably will forget if I did say it. So that's another, that's why I don't lie. Because if I have to lie, guess what? You have to remember the lie. So it's not happening, not here with me. No. So things that I'm learning about my wonderful ADHD, dealing with learning, memory, playing the movie, it's a phenomenal thing. So I'm understanding why. So the later years of being diagnosed with ADHD combination, now I know why I did and do certain things. So thank you for listening.